Hello, Dr. James Bogash, Master of Health and Longevity and creator of Modern Health Myths. And today we're going to talk about yet another common environmental chemical that we think is safe, but highly likely that it leads to more severe COVID outcomes. This wouldn't be the first time that we've looked at what we call forever chemicals. So think Teflon, flame retardants, PFOA, PFOS, PFAS. They fall into a group of compounds that pretty much last forever in the environment. But we've already seen that some of these chemicals will reduce the immune response to things like a measles vaccine. So it would make sense that exposure, having higher amounts of this chemical in your bloodstream could lead to other viral conditions being worse, in this particular case with COVID. So the challenge is that when we look at a lot of different chemicals, a lot of them produced coming out of 3M, things like Teflon, the PFAS group is generally considered safer because it doesn't hang out in the body as long. Generally a matter of days, versus PFOA, found in like Teflon, will stay in your body for years. And there's no question that PFOA and Teflon is not good for our hearts or for our bodies in general. Any bird owner who knows they can't have non-stick cookware in their home already understands this, that these things can be toxic to us. So this particular study looked at 323 people, aged 30 to 70, and they looked, these were all confirmed positive COVID. Of this group, about 77% of them, or I'm sorry, 215% of them were hospitalized. So a good chunk of these people ended up in the hospital. And they looked for a variety of different compounds. I think it was four or eight of the different might have been five, PFAS compounds. In particular, they found one of them, PFBA. Don't ask me to pronounce it because they're perfluorinated compounds and they're way too hard to pronounce. Much easier to just use the initials. They know that one of the other reasons they looked at PFAS is because it's known to accumulate in the lungs. And since this is where the battle occurs with COVID, again, makes sense to look at this particular compound. And they found that those with higher levels had a 77% higher chance of having severe COVID, resulting in hospitalizations, ICU, and even deaths. So clearly, to some degree, this was linked. The problem is that this compound is used in everything. So it's really hard to eliminate your exposure. You can certainly cut down your exposure. Used in a lot of electronics, used in clothing. So think of things that are water resistant. Carpets, stain-resistant carpets. You've got to use something to resist those stains, and they use these PFAS compounds. It's one of the reasons why in our home and in the office we largely have tile and cement, so we don't have to worry about the stain-resistant aspect of that. Floor polish can use that. Hair care products, skin creams will use them. Insecticides. So this shouldn't come as a big surprise that we should use chemical-free or be very careful and use as many natural personal care products as possible and not use insecticides and pesticides and fungicides and all those things that we're so used to using, but they have health consequences. So again, not possible to eliminate your exposure, but you can certainly reduce your exposure. As always, I'll post a link to this particular study in the description. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody who you think needs this information, and subscribe to the channel.